Hello and welcome to your in-depth weekly horoscope for week commencing the 20th of September for the Sun or the Ascendant. I'm going to give you an overview of the big planetary movers and shakers this week before going on to give you your zodiac sign forecast in greater detail. This week begins on Monday or Tuesday, depending on where you are in the world, with that fabulous full moon in the sign of Pisces. And I say fabulous because this is a glorious opportunity for us all to realign our physical and practical realities with the more emotional and spiritual dimension. If we're too focused on the humdrum, we need to just tune out from that a little bit and become much more conscious about how things feel. If we're very focused on the emotional and spiritual dimension, but not quite so on top of our practical world, then this is a great chance to realign. And with Pluto in support, the planet of change, there's every chance we can do this really well. But of course, this is the week when the Sun makes its passage into the sign of Libra, and on Wednesday we have the autumn equinox. So this is a really major event. It's the third quadrant, the third cardinal quadrant that begins this third quarter of the astrological year. It begins with the Sun at 0 degrees Libra, and that's known as an earth point. The others are 0 degrees Aries, the vernal point, 0 degrees Cancer when we have the summer solstice, and 0 degrees Capricorn when we have the winter solstice. So this autumn equinox is, if you like, a staging point in our journey. And the sign of Libra is very much about finding balance, but it can also be to do with things like fashion and design and style. So embracing those things can be a glorious thing to do over the next 4 weeks. And like the other cardinal signs, Libra is a sign of leadership. And of course, a big part of its emphasis is on those relationships. Now, this is also a week when Mercury, already in the sign of Libra, is in a more tense right angle with Pluto. And this suggests that when it comes to professional relationships, there could be a little bit of a power battle going on. Perhaps you've got ideas that someone in a position of influence is going to resist. Perhaps you're the employer. Either way, some kind of tension is possible, though from midweek there is a glorious angle between Mars in the sign of Libra and also Saturn. And that suggests where we have very solid relationships and we feel a sense of trust and also perhaps a sense of community, then those alliances can get stronger. But of course, the other standout influence this week is Venus's opposition to Uranus. And this is just saying to us, while we're becoming more mindful of relationships with that Libra change and that autumn equinox, it's just saying that we still need to be open-minded and flexible. Both Venus and Uranus are in fixed signs in Scorpio and also Uranus. So if we are a little too attached to our routines and we've lost a little bit of the spontaneity in a close relationship, this is a great time to start working harder at it and try to do things a little bit more off the cuff. But if you're single, all these energies this week do point towards an increased possibility to someone to come into your world, but it may happen quite quickly and in quite a magnetic and electric kind of way. Now, if you're new to me and my channel, I'd be honoured if you would subscribe. Please click or tap on the bell notification symbol. And if you'd like to get your free daily written horoscope fired to your device each morning, you can do so by subscribing on the link below. I provide the content for Britain's most read daily newspaper, the Metro, and platforms all around the world. And of course, with year 2022 racing up, if you do want your forecast for next year now, you can order it and get the rest of this year free, plus a character analysis, plus 30% off. So please see that offer below. Now please stay with me for your in-depth horoscope forecast. Hello Aquarius, and welcome to your in-depth forecast for week commencing the 20th of September. Of course, this week begins with that full moon. The full moon in your second house. Second house is about how we feel about ourselves, our self-worth, about the foundations in our world. It can be about everyday money, and it can be where we share finance in its interaction with the 8th house sun. So maybe there's something to discuss, to realign, to improve around those areas. The dramatic news, however, is that autumn equinox and the sun entering your sister air sign of Libra. This begins the third quadrant of the year, as I said before, and for you this is very much about expansion. And because of the retrograde affecting both Jupiter and Saturn in the sign of Aquarius at the current time, it may have felt that all your efforts to get a particular strand or one important theme or a project really gaining traction may have been inhibited some way by that or those retrogrades. But uplift comes this week in the form of Mercury's linked to Jupiter, which is magical, and Mars is linked to Saturn. So both those things can see expansion working in tandem with your individuality. And that's something that I think a lot of Aquarius people can really relate to. The 9th house energy of Libra really has a kind of echo of Sagittarian energy. And the thing that really makes Sagittarius and Aquarius energy rather similar is the love of freedom, that independent nature. And the 9th house is really breaking free of the shackles, being much less inhibited and really going for it. Now, of course, Venus still is right at the top of the 10th house, ideal for building relationships up in a professional capacity where charm will take you far. But with Uranus, your modern ruler, opposing Venus, well, just be aware that whatever you are doing in terms of wanting to break free and being more individual or your work, there is going to be a need to maintain those home fires. So if you want to break out so much that you're forgetting to keep the domestic chores going, pay those bills, or be in contact with the people who survive or support your main emotional being, then that is an important achievement too. But generally, a very, very positive set of stars for you this week, Aquarius.